Welcome to Trend Guards, your #1 source for verified AI news. I'm your host, and in this explainer, we're breaking down what has been an absolutely unprecedented 7 days in artificial intelligence. Look, there's a lot of noise out there right now, so we are stripping away the hype to look exclusively at what Anthropic, OpenAI, Meta, and Google actually shipped over the past week. We're going to examine exactly what the benchmarks say, how much these tools cost, and why the sudden arrival of parallel desktop agents and zero-cost Openweight models is about to fundamentally rewire your software budget and really your entire operational strategy.
So, let's just take a look at this timeline, because between July 21st and July 27th, the landscape of artificial intelligence transformed at a blistering pace. Over just these 6 days, we saw massive frontier and Openweight releases officially hit the market. 4 major companies launched products that definitively move AI away from simple chat interfaces and into the realm of fully autonomous agents. Meanwhile, highly capable Openweight models dropped into the ecosystem, and they're completely challenging the entire pricing structure of the commercial AI industry.
Jumping right in, according to Anthropic's official announcement on July 23rd, Cowork is a standalone desktop application that you install directly on Windows or macOS. It's specifically engineered for general knowledge workers, and by that I mean people who do not code. The verified feature set allows users to perform local file management, deep research, data analysis, and document creation, all without ever touching a command line. But the confirmed killer feature here? It's the ability to spin up and run multiple AI agents in parallel. Imagine telling your desktop to automatically organize your tax receipts in the background, while simultaneously having another agent actively research a list of competitors for a brief you're writing. Your computer effectively becomes this coordinated team of AI workers.
Now, the strategic shift we're seeing here is absolutely massive. Previously, Anthropic's autonomous tool, Claude Code, was a terminal-based interface that required significant technical knowledge. It was strictly built for developers. Cowork takes that exact same underlying reasoning and tool use engine and repackages it behind a graphical interface with plain English instructions for a completely non-technical audience. The barrier to entry just vanished. Anthropic is no longer just competing for the attention of software engineers. They've expanded their addressable market to include anyone who uses a computer for daily professional work.
Let's talk numbers, because the most crucial verified metric to come out of this specific product launch is 75%. OpenAI officially reports that their new presence platform currently resolves 75% of inbound issues on their own internal phone support line, and it does this entirely autonomously. Think about that for a second. That means 3 out of 4 customers are getting complex issues resolved from start to finish without ever needing to speak to a human representative.
Now, unlike Cowork's focus on individual productivity, Presence is strictly an enterprise-only platform. According to OpenAI's documentation, it requires direct deployment by their forward-deployed engineers and focuses heavily on high-volume, customer-facing operations like voice and chat support. So why does it require specialized engineers? Well, because enterprises need strict risk management. The platform allows companies to define the exact customized tasks the agent can perform, establish rigid safety policies, and program precise escalation rules for when a human absolutely must step in. This isn't some experimental chatbot you play with in a browser. It's a highly controlled, tightly integrated deployment built for massive, verified scale.
Meta has been incredibly aggressive here, shipping Muse Spark 1.1 with some wildly advanced capabilities. It features full computer use autonomy, meaning it can literally see your screen and actively click buttons to navigate software. On top of that, it processes a massive 1 million token context window, and it natively runs parallel subagents. However, and this is important, as verified by recent regulatory filings, we have to note that Meta shipped this major update while completely bypassing the White House's 30-day voluntary AI review framework. It's a massive regulatory unknown right now. Meta is shipping openly and incredibly fast, while their major competitors are busy submitting their frontier models to the voluntary government review process.
Meanwhile, Google's latest strategy is all about hyper-efficiency. According to their published technical report released on July 21st, they dropped 3 highly efficient, specialized models. Gemini 3.6 Flash currently leads the OS World Verified benchmark test at 83%. And get this, it's priced at just $1.50 in and $7.50 out per million tokens. That's a huge deal. Then you have their incredibly cheap 3.5 flashlight, which actually beats the older, full-size Gemini 3 Flash on the SW Bench Pro coding evaluation at 54.2%. They also announced a specialized cyber model, though access there is restricted strictly to government and trusted partners.
But as we parse the facts, we really have to talk about what's missing here.
While Google confirmed in their press release that Gemini 4 pre-training is officially underway, the status of their heavyweight model Gemini 3.5 Pro is entirely unverified. Actually, it's been delayed indefinitely, with no release date or benchmarks provided whatsoever. Google is clearly betting heavily on the sheer volume and speed of their highly efficient flash models, and they're pinning their frontier hopes entirely on the future Gemini 4 release.
The economic disruption we are seeing in the Openweight space this week is just staggering. Just look at the contrast in operational costs. You have a standard frontier cost of roughly $30 per million output tokens for a massive model like GPT 5.6 Ultra. Compare that premium pricing against the verified API cost for DeepSeek V4, which is just 44 cents per million output tokens. That is nearly 70 times cheaper for highly competitive reasoning. And then you have Kimi K3 offering a massive 2.8 trillion parameter model with open weights that are completely 100% free to download and run on your own hardware.
The timing of these releases is absolutely critical for the industry. DeepSeek V4's stable release lands on July 24th, officially removing beta bugs and those technical objections that usually stall enterprise adoption. Then, Kimi K3's free weights release on July 27th, and this actually directly resolves Moonshot AI's recent operational issue where they had to suspend new subscriptions just due to overwhelming server demand. By removing API fees entirely and allowing companies to shift the computing burden to their own local enterprise infrastructure, these stable Openweight releases are going to force every single CTO to rewrite their AI budget this quarter.
So what's the concrete takeaway from this unprecedented week in AI? It's basically a threefold shift. First, the technical barrier to entry for agentic workflows has completely vanished. Normal, non-technical users now have native desktop access to parallel AI agents. Second, enterprise support is now verifiably scaling through autonomous AI, dramatically altering the calculus for call centers and customer success teams. And third, the financial cost for routine automation has plummeted to near zero. The economics now heavily incentivize writing 80% of your routine coding and administrative tasks to these highly capable, free or nearly free Openweight models. That reserves the expensive $30 frontier models only for the absolute most difficult logic and reasoning problems.
So as you adjust your operational strategies based on these verified facts this week, I want you to ask yourself this. If desktop agents and free Openweight models can now reliably automate your routine, everyday tasks, how exactly will your team leverage this baseline automation to solve the complex, high-value challenges that AI still cannot crack? Because that is the real question moving forward. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer here on Trend Guards. I'm your host, reminding you to look past the hype, trust the facts, and stay ahead. See you next time.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It really helps the channel grow. See you in the next video.